Everyone has a unique gift, and Mike, the creator of the 1NELife podcast, believes most people don't know how to use their gifts or what they are. Mike wants you to see things from a different perspective and be true to yourself. The 1NELife podcast, it inspires, motivates, and creates positive energy, love, and compassion to all communities. We only have one life to live. Be yourself and live your truth. Add the 1NELife podcast to your playlist. That's the number 1NELife. Available on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, and your favorite podcast platform.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to the 1NELife podcast. I am Mike M.I.C. Reed.
And I'm Haley Payne.
And we are back, you guys.
Yes.
We're here discussing positive psychology, telling everybody's story because everybody has an amazing story. And today, my story was kind of crazy. I had a crazy day today.
Yeah.
How was your day?
I had a great day.
Yeah?
I really did. You know, I feel like last night was a full moon and I feel so refreshed. I feel born again.
So, you know, it's crazy that, today I woke up excited because I had visitors at my school today. Yes. I had my executive team there, and I had another executive team from a different school district. And I was just pumped up because they had been hearing so much about me and my team that they wanted to come visit. So I was just pumped up, ready to go, and I killed it.
Of course.
Right? I killed it.
Of course you
right?
did.
And even my girl, she's a third grade teacher at my school. So I went over to her and I was like, I killed my meeting again, right?
Just skipping around.
And then I had maybe 20, 30 minutes before my next meeting. I had a meeting with a whole nother group of people that was at my school. And that meeting, I was just like, that just took so much out of me.
I hate
it
that.
It was so draining. And it didn't have to be.
Right.
And I get people's emotions are different or whatever, and I'm mindful of it. But when people are in the meetings and someone starts to cry, I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah.
And I've studied positive psychology. I know how, take care of my well-being, and I try to be mindful of everybody else's feelings and stuff. But when it's this comes out of left field, it really came out of left field, nowhere. And she was sitting next to me. So I really felt uncomfortable. I was like, why is she crying?
Sobbing?
Yeah, it started off kind of lighthearted, but then it got into it.
Oh.
And I'm just like,
yeah, what do you do? Give a hug? Because
now you're out of school and I want to, psychological sapety space, right? You don't want to touch nobody, then this is inappropriate.
Yeah.
And it's
just slide some tissues over.
Yeah, that was so I even I apologized, right? Because there were definitely some miscommunication with the whole team. It was
Wait, did you make her cry?
No, I never make people cry. No. No, I didn't make her cry. Someone else made her cry because they was going back and forth. But I felt like I played a part in the miscommunication. So I apologize for that part because I really didn't know. It's a new program that we're doing, and there was a lot of miscommunications. I mean, I work at an elementary school. So it's chaos all the time, dealing with kids' behaviors and trying to implement new programs and, trying to do fun things for the kids just to get away from the behaviors, right? So it was just crazy. I did apologize for my part, but I still felt like, why are we crying?
You're like, lock it up.
We're adults. Let's just work through this.
Yeah.
There was miscommunication, whatever, but I didn't. I think it kind of goes like, Haley, you and I, we took a positive psychology course, and the first thing they teach us is, don't take behavior personal, right?
Yes.
So that's how I felt. Wasn't nothing said disrespectful or directed at this person.
Right.
She just started getting emotional, and I'm just like, why are you taking it so personal? It's like, okay, there was a miscommunication. Let's just work through it.
Sure.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Put your big girl pants on.
Yeah.
Let's go.
What I like about you though is that you are very mindful of people's emotions and how they feel, and that's a very nice quality that you have.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes. Well, today we have a very special guest joining us on the podcast. I am so excited to introduce our special guest. His name is Todd Kerpel. He is a consciousness coach, and he's just the best. I've been working with him recently, and he helps people and organizations identify what drives them. He helps them communicate more effectively. He has helped me navigate very stressful situations. He might be able to help you navigate this stressful situation that you have experienced.
I hope so.
Yes. And just working with him has helped me become more grounded, more present, and more intentional with my life. And I'm happy to have him here on our
Oh,
podcast
yeah,
today.
definitely. Welcome, Todd. How are you doing today, sir?
Welcome.
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for that intro, Haley. Thank you, Mike, for letting me be here. I really appreciate, I really appreciate this opportunity. And yeah, I mean, one of the main things I've been doing for 30 years is, I mean, literally 3 decades is really helping people kind of navigate consciously into a direction that brings out inspiration, makes them feel safe, and helps them feel fulfilled at the end of the day. You know, that's my goal in life.
So before we jump into my results, because Todd had me take this assessment test, and ever since I took the psychology course, right? Like, I love tests like this. I love knowing how the brain works, and I love bettering myself. Like, I consider myself like a well-being coach. I never heard of a consciousness coach, though. That's a no one for me.
Yes.
But I know it's out there because, it's kind of crazy because some of the conversations I be having with people, people be like, I'm not aware that I'm doing something. I'm like, well, subconsciously you're doing it. You just don't even know you're doing it.
Yeah.
Again, it's going back to the how the brain works, right?
Right. Yeah, I think like the idea of consciousness coach is something I kind of came up with. Is the idea of it is really 90% of change comes from being aware and conscious. Mm-hmm. Like if a person's not aware and they're not conscious of what's going on within their world, they just kind of repeat the programming, the subconscious programming that they've been downloaded with. Mm-hmm. And so for me, it's like helping people wake up to that part of themselves so that they can actually either see what they're doing and be like, oh, this is great, this is functional, this works, or it's not working, it's dysfunctional. Mm-hmm. And if it is dysfunctional, it's like, okay, that's okay. And it's okay to like lean into that so that you can then actually help yourself change and evolve and grow. So the idea of consciousness coach is really just, I see the system, the human vehicle, like a computer. Mm-hmm. And so the central nervous system is the motherboard, and then the subconscious, actually to get into the subconscious, from what I found, is that you have to use your emotional understanding. So your emotions are the password. So when you start to, like that woman you were talking about, so if I was helping her and it was in a setting that I could do that in, what I would do is I would ask her to connect to whatever emotion she's feeling, mm-hmm. and validate it. Like, it's valid. Like, that's the trigger. She's being triggered. Something's happening. Mm-hmm. And then I would ask her to connect to that emotion. And by doing that, I usually ask people to paint a picture. And what that means is, where is it in your body? What color is it? What texture is it? What shape is it? What texture and temperature is it? And so when they find that in their body and they can connect to it, now they're in the back end. Now they're in the back end of their subconscious, which means now they have an opportunity to shapeshift it and change it, and then connect to something else, like a higher vibrational emotion. Mm-hmm. So, that's the whole, it's like the 101 of what I do when it comes to one-on-one with other people that I work with. And so, she was having a moment, maybe your energy sparked her to be able to feel safe enough to feel what she was feeling. Mm-hmm. And, awesome. When I go over your results, it kind of makes sense that happened, actually.
Oh.
Can I ask a question? Because Todd, you're saying that we're like computers and we have programming. Do you think that the programming is downloaded from like generationally?
I think it comes from a couple different places. One is generational. I think, like, I always use the example, like if you have a glass of Hawaiian punch, mm-hmm. and then you pour that into another glass, and you pour that into another glass, it's still red, it's still Hawaiian punch. But somebody in the family eventually has to take like a 3-gallon pitcher of water, and then they pour that into the glass, mm-hmm. and it clears it out. Yeah. And so for me, that's what I did for myself, which I think helped my family in general. Not that I was trying to heal my family, but I was trying to help heal myself and help myself grow. And I think the byproduct of that is that it clears out a lot of stuff that we get downloaded with through generational stuff. And then just parenting, right? Like I know I have 2 kids and I parent them, and I know there's things I do well and I know there's things that I don't, but I'm conscious of those things. And then I try to reevaluate and help them with some of the things that might be dysfunctional, that I might be teaching them, and rewrite the script. And so, but I know from my upbringing, I had a lot of survival stuff going on day to day. Like I was always looking to figure out how to survive the day. And, and again, my family did the best they could, but with that, they were downloaded within their belief systems on how to raise kids and how to be in the world. And I'm watching that through my lens. And then when I become an adult, if I hadn't had anything that was helping me become more functional, I start to repeat what I've been taught. And so the idea is to catch those things, become conscious of them, and understand that you have the ability and strength to change within yourself, if you learn tools and strategies to do so.
And it really does take that one person in the family to decide that I'm going to be the one, I'm going to be the change, and really change it for everybody.
Well, I definitely think I'm that one person. I'm the baby of 7. I'm the baby of 7 kids. So I know my older brothers and sisters don't think like me. Like most of them come to me for advice, which is crazy because I'm the baby of 7.
Well, I think you probably can relate to that too, because you really had to change your programming of the way that you were raised and what you had to go through. You had to learn it for yourself.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's kind of like what we learned in positive psychology, right? Our habit loops. Like in our prefrontal cortex, we have these things called habit loops. Right. And subconsciously, we don't know that we're doing stuff on a regular basis because it's our habit loops. And we got to reprogram our habit loops.
It really reminds me of the Matrix.
Yeah.
Especially like referring it to your programming. Like you really have to be like Neo. Like you got to be the one to take that pill and wake up.
True.
Yeah, and the habit loops is another term for the programming and helping oneself, because when you get into the emotional content, you have the opportunity then to choose something different emotionally, which then will change your behavior.
Right.
And then but the thing is that it doesn't happen with like a one-off. Like you can't just go meditate one time or do something once. You have to repeat it. You have to be disciplined. It has to be repetitive.
Practice.
And that's how I talk to my clients. They'll come to me and I'll say to them, if you can't do the tools and strategies, don't waste your money on me, because it's not gonna work. Like I'm not gonna talk you out of this.
It's funny because I think a couple of shows ago we was talking about I don't react to things, right? And I was talking about like if we heard like a sonic boom or something, like I would not even pay attention to it. And it happened today in my meeting with the one lady.
So many today.
There was a sonic boom, like, and all the ladies in the room was like, "What's that?" Like, because it felt like something just landed on the roof, right?
It did.
And I'm still going through the meeting, I didn't pay attention to it, but that comes from me meditating for like a year. And every morning, 'cause I used to commute from where we at now, the AV, to LA, and it's like an hour commute. And I used to have these prayer beads, and it has like 107 beads on them. And you're supposed to say something positive with the beads, right? So on my commute, I used to do that there and home as I was driving. I would just always say 107 things positive there, and then another 107 things positive on the way back.
That's so
and I
beautiful.
did that every day during my commute, and it learned me. It taught me how to just relax, be in the moment, and not react.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
Right. And the thing is like you get to a point where, do you know what epigenetics is? So like epigenetics is basically like the environment presses on your genetics. So when you hear a sonic boom and you're, not, and it scares a person, what happens is that goes into their system, and then they get triggered, and then they have a reaction to it. And so with epigenetics, we're always reacting, but it sounds like for you have the ability to be very neutral in most settings, so that you're not going too off the grid. You're not getting too negative. You're just in that space and going, okay, I can keep moving. Yeah. And then if something really serious happens, then you will react.
Right.
But you did the work
because you've trained yourself to do that. It's great.
That's like that book, The Body Keeps the Score.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good book.
Yeah, because
I never read it, but it sounds good.
Yeah. No, it's a
sounds
good book. Yeah, it's a good one. But it sounds like, with that, the more you can catch what's going on, the in the moment processing and what's happening to a person, there's less reaction in the sense of out of sorts or dysfunction. It's more neutral. It's more accepting. You go into logic and reason. That's probably the sweet spot for anybody that wants to change and shapeshift who they are.
that's
Right, and it's one of the things where there's something that I teach to my kid. I have kids, but the kid I call the kids at school my kids, because we all say that like it's our kids, right? I teach the kids like when they're going through something, like you have to want to do better and be better. Like it really is a choice. Like you have to want to, and if you don't want to, then no matter what tools I give you or what we go through, we can go through a lesson right now. You're not going to be better because you don't want it. So you kind of like have to want it, right?
Yeah, you got to be coachable.
Yeah,
you do. And I think so many people really walk around just unconscious to everything in the world that's going on. They're so just focused on themselves and what happened to them that day. And just, the basis of positive psychology, other people matter. Like it's just not even a concept. And then, it's like the last episode we were talking about finding meaning. Right. And that's, I think where a lot of people struggle is they don't have meaning because they're not conscious to the life that's around them.
they're not.
Yeah, no, 100%. 100%. That's a big problem in our world, I think, because there's so much chaos and there's a lot of reaction. And then what happens is it's just rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat.
It is.
Literally.
I literally, you know what? It's funny because I literally every day at school tell people I feel like I'm in Groundhog Day. Like every day is the same thing. It's the same thing with the same student, the same behavior, and it's just rinse and repeat, like you said, every day.
Yeah, it's wild.
It is.
So like my biggest goal, primary goal, has been to be able to help more and more people, and so doing the one-on-one stuff is really great, and now I'm expanding into doing it with businesses and teams and the CEOs and leaders and HR departments to really help the culture of the business, because I find that people work a ton and then they go home and they bring their work home, and then it affects their personal lives with their kids and their spouse. And then they try to heal what's going on or go to therapy for that, when really it's coming from a work environment that they're not happy in and they're getting burnt out in. Right. And so like the groups that you're doing with these kids is amazing to me, because you're starting early, right? And they need that. They really do. And the more, even if you're not getting through to them right now, or maybe you get through to a few and then maybe some of them you're not, somebody else is going to come along and give the same message. And then somebody else is going to come along and give the same. And eventually they're going to start waking up.
Right. And it's like planting a seed. And I tell the kids all the time, like, you know what? I don't expect you to change tomorrow. Right, because we have to learn through failure, anyways. Right, I expect them to make mistakes, and I tell them that because that's how you're gonna learn. It's the repeated mistakes that we've already went through is the ones where I'm trying to catch them. Like, okay, we've been through this, but other than that, I expect them to make mistakes. I don't expect them to change even this year, but hopefully when they go into middle school and high school, like you said, hopefully they're hearing the same thing, some type of consistency from somebody else, and it sticks at some point.
Yeah, no, it's great. Failure is the best teacher, it seems to me. I've failed at a lot of things, and and then you kind of shift and change and see if you can do it a little differently and try again, and one of the things, go ahead.
No, I was saying same.
Yeah. And so for the kids, like, especially, the young people and older people, but I always, one time when I was when I had a business in New York, and it was similar to what I do now, but it was like one of my first businesses in this, and somebody left something on my door. And back then, when they actually had tapes, and you put in the tape and you played the tape, and it's not like an MP3 or anything like that. And one of the tapes was about this woman talking about things happening for you and not to you.
Yeah.
And when that word changed, that changed my whole perspective, because then everything that goes on, I was able to see things happening for me and use them as opportunities.
Yes.
Because when I was in that to me phase, I was constantly a victim in something that wasn't even happening to me in that moment.
Yep.
But I was just constantly like, cycling through that. And then when I shifted it for me, it was like a whole thing, a whole pathway opened up for me.
Yes. We're
And
all
so
trying to get on that upward
Oh,
spiral.
absolutely.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yes. That's awesome.
So, yeah, it's good.
Well, I know, Todd, you work a lot with this YOS. Can you tell us more about that?
So yeah, I got certified in it's something called the YOS Institute, and I went through a program to get certified. And this man named Gary Sanchez created this algorithm that helps people find their why. And I don't know if you know who Simon Sinek is, but he learned through Simon Sinek, if you find your why, you find your way, basically. And it's really about your intrinsic motivation. It doesn't matter if it's with work, personal, hobbies. Your intrinsic motivation, your why, is always pulling on everything that you do. And so when I found this, first and foremost, I took it and I was like, oh, wow, this makes a lot of sense. And it opened up a lot of understanding about my past. And because your why usually gets baked in when you're growing up.
Right.
And then as you become an adult, you're using it, but a lot of times people don't know what that is. And it's really the intrinsic motivation, not the extrinsic. The extrinsic is, it could be money, travel, family, but the intrinsic is like your passion and where you're coming from and why you're doing what you're doing.
And like you said, sometimes it's baked in because parents will tell their kids, like, especially with sports, like I've seen it because my oldest played travel baseball. So like the parents are like, this is it, like baseball is life, and then they grow up just thinking that, and then you don't play baseball anymore. Like, who am I? What am I supposed to do now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we think we're doing the
true.
best for our kids by giving them something to be involved in, but without like harnessing what they actually care about. It could be really confusing.
It is. And, I had a 35-year career in film and television, and a lot of my shows was like kid shows. And you used to see like, parents whenever the kids are small, oh, my kids are so cute. They belong on a commercial or on TV.
Right.
And it's like,
No.
No, the kids really, most of them really don't even want to be on set. I'm gonna be honest with you. They hate it. It was to the point where, like, whenever we did our shows, we was on one sound stage, and the parents had to be on a totally different sound stage because the kids just act totally different with the parents. Like when the parents was like at rehearsal or on the same sound stage, the kids is like so uptight. Like, it's like, wait, you guys got to go over there.
Yeah.
Like, let me work with this kid so they can relax, whatever. But because their parents are there, and if they get something wrong, the parent be like, come on, you can do it. You did it right at home. It's like that pressure, right?
Yeah.
And the kids don't even want to be there. They're there because you want them to be a star.
Right.
Because you feel like they're so cute and adorable and all this.
Right.
Kid don't want to be there. Kid want to be a kid.
Yep.
Because working in television, like, it's a lot of work. My niece wanted to do it, and my brother, I told him, I said, she'll never have a childhood if you put her in this. And she wanted to do it. So, and years later, she found out, she missed her whole childhood because it's school, right? Then it's the academics, not the academics, but the activities after that, like the dance rehearsals, the speech, the whatever else rehearsals. And then you have the rehearsal for the show, right? So it literally, a kid literally is working 12 hours a day, nonstop. Yeah. So there's no time for playing. There's no time for rest. When you're on set, it's either you're on set practicing, or you're in school on set, or you're filming. So it's one of those three places you in. There's no recess or anything. It literally is like a full-time job.
Yeah.
And the kids don't like it. Once they get in it and they see that, then they start pulling back like, oh, I don't like this.
That's so confusing too, because like I said, when you come out of it, you're like, who am I?
Right.
And you got to work with Todd.
Right.
Find your motivation again.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, but it's true. I in Kansas, living out here, it's all sports, and every parent seems to think that their kid's gonna be pro something. And,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's the
and
culture.
it's really like in the beginning, it's like, let them just have fun. Like I get it. Like playing sports, it's great. But if you get really competitive early, honestly, like they end up burning out.
They do.
Which is why my
even if
oldest
they're great,
plays golf
a
now.
lot of them don't want to play. They don't want to play it anymore,
No.
even if they're excellent at it. So totally understand that. Yeah. That and so as a child, if you come from a functional home, that's great. It's still going to get baked in. If you come from a dysfunctional home or somewhere in between, there's a lot of baking of that intrinsic stuff going on. My why is better way. And so I had to figure out how to survive the day. And I would do that through really diving deep into understanding how to shapeshift and be in the world in my home so that everything could be copacetic at least. And, because there's just, physical, mental, emotional stuff going on in my home that was pretty intense. And so, I had to figure that out. And so when I figured out my why, I was like, oh, this is that I used it for survival, but now I use it to help people grow and heal and evolve.
I love
Because
that.
I'm always looking at like things and going, okay, how can I tweak this to make it easier for people to understand?
Right.
So that it's easier for them to get to a place that makes them feel integrated and connected in their world with the people that they love and they're connected, that they're surrounded by.
That's so cool.
So I did, I did a little deep dive on yours, and I want to go over it, and then I'll probably ask you a few questions to see.
Let's get into it. Let's go.
Yeah,
I'm
let's
excited.
do it.
I'm excited.
Because you said earlier that you know why the lady cried in front of me, and I'm really curious to know.
Yeah, that's right.
Did I make somebody cry today?
No. So your why? So the YOS is based in
Wait,
three different sections.
pause. Because my girlfriend over here, she over here working, right? And then all of a sudden, when you said, "Okay, let's go," she was like,
Oh,
she wants to know my why.
She does.
So
No,
this is the
that
part.
was just a funny moment that she just did that.
I love it.
Our audience over here.
Yeah.
So your why? It's a why, how, and what. And your
Yes.
why is the primary process. Your how is really about how you make your why come to life, and your what is what ultimately how you bring it to life.
Mm-hmm.
So your why is trust. Your how is right way, and your what is contribute. And what that means is your trust is you build relationships through consistency, loyalty, and being someone people can count on. Right. And you're not going to be afraid to say what's on your mind when it comes to something that, that you believe in or you're connected to.
That's true.
You'll probably be kind about it, but you'll be upfront.
Right.
Your right way is you operate with structure, processes, and a clear belief that things should be done properly.
Yes.
That's accurate.
And
That's accurate.
then your what is contribute. What you ultimately bring to the world is generosity. So you want to make a meaningful difference.
Yes.
And that's why you brought this podcast to life.
Yeah.
Put it into action. So, we're going to do it. I'm just going to go a little bit deeper.
Okay.
You're not chasing attention,
No.
right? This is not why you do it. You're building trust, and you build that with the people that watch your show and that you're connected to, and your family. Like you said, you're the youngest of how many?
7.
Yeah, that's a big family.
Yeah.
And that's what makes you such a grounded host. Listeners can feel it. That woman that was sitting next to you, because you're bringing 100% consciousness and connection to what you're doing, you held space for her to have that moment.
Oh, yes.
That's what was happening in that moment. She felt safe.
Yeah.
So you're not really here to do surface level talk. You're here to bring what's real. Right. And so that right way, that how, brings out your thoughtfulness and your preparation, and you want things to be done with quality and intention. So like even before we got on this podcast, you were doing a lot of different things, tweaking things. You were listening to what Haley had to say. You were like, you can't hear him? And she's like, no, I can hear him. So you were like, you got a lot of antennas going on.
Yes.
Right.
Just to make sure it runs properly. And then at the end of the day, with the contribute, it's that impact. You don't need the applause. You do it because it helps people. And that's the idea of what you're bringing. So I wrote like a little statement. You create a space that feels safe, clear, and meaningful. That is rare. You are not just a podcaster. You are a builder of trust through conversation.
That's
The
so
way
good.
you blend purpose with process is what makes the One New Life podcast work.
I love
Does
it.
that make sense?
Oh, perfect.
It's so accurate.
That's crazy.
Yes.
Thank you, Davey.
Beautiful.
How does Sin feel about it?
How do you feel about that?
Oh, she's crying.
Oh.
That's so sweet. See?
So
No, you know what? And I know right now, like I'm at a. I don't do well with compliments because I don't look for them. Like because what I do, I don't do it for compliments. I get a lot of accolades. People all the time is like always thanking me and all this and that. I get awards, and I really don't do well with that because it's not why I do it. So I always get like stumped up.
I'm the opposite of that. I love it. Give me all the compliments.
No, I mean, I don't.
well, yeah. I want you to think about this though, right? Like when somebody gives you a compliment and it's hard for you to take it in, then you're denying their gift to you.
And I've heard that before. Lisa tells me that all the time.
I'm sure I've told you that too.
Yeah.
And so when you receive it, it actually expands what you do.
Yes.
You're not doing it ego wise. You're not taking it and like, yeah, I got this. I know what it's not that. It's just this energy that you're giving off and that you're bringing to the world to do what you're passionate about. And when people compliment that, they're complimenting the energy that you're bringing.
Yeah.
It's not like it's you, but it's the energy.
Right.
And so that builds your podcast. That builds your message. When other people are giving you accolades, other people around that are on the fence of like following you or doing or listening to your show. When you receive it, they click yes. When you don't receive it, maybe they do click yes, maybe they don't.
Yeah.
So that's the idea. That's how I see it anyway.
But thank you for that. I truly appreciate that.
Yeah, and so when I do the YOS, I look at people's values, and so there's just a few different ones that I wrote down that make sense to what your why is, and the values that I came up with is one for you is integrity. You do what you say you will do. You're going to show up. Respect. You're going to honor your guests and your audience. Service, you're here to give and not just get. And the way you said it, you're not here to get anything. You're just here to do it, right? Clarity, you cut through the noise. You want it to be smooth and and accurate. And then loyalty, you show up with consistency and heart. And those are the values that come within that YOS that we just talked about. So I have a couple questions for you.
Shoot.
So how do you personally define trust, and how do you build it with your guests and audience?
Oh, how do I build trust with my audience? I'm just an open book. Like, I believe in transparency. Even with my team and people that I work with, I'm constantly reminding everybody, like, hey, I'm very transparent. Ask me whatever. If you're unsure of something, ask me. I'm truly am an open book. I don't believe in hiding things from people, or if I'm telling you something, I'm not going to say, hey, don't tell this person. I don't know, just transparency.
I think you build trust with your guests too, because you are interested in their story. You're curious and you do want to hear what they have to say. And I think that builds trust.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, because I like to learn. That's how I learn, by other people's stories. I like to hear experience. I'm always asking why. I'm a why person. Like, I got to know the why.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like, I got to know the why. Because that's how I learn, though. That's how me asking questions is, like, if you say something, I'm going to, even though sometimes it comes off wrong if I say, why did you say that? It's not being sarcastic or anything. It's like I really want to know how your brain works and how you think, because then it's a better communication. Once I understand how you work, how your brain works and how you think, then it's just an easier conversation for us to have.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I like that answer. The transparency part is big because you're just laying it all out there.
Yeah.
And then you're deep diving into how other people exist and show up, really brings home what you do.
Right. And I humanized, like especially with my audience, like I started my show years ago by telling my story. And I think for like the first 20 episodes, it was just telling people my story, being honest about it. I didn't hold nothing back. I mean, I cried a couple of times. You know, I got really emotional, on a couple of shows. So it was me opening up, showing them that it's okay, showing them that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to tell your story. I wasn't embarrassed about it because it's my life. It's my story.
Yeah. So you build trust through authenticity, transparency, and curiosity.
I would say,
Yeah, that's really great. So right way is the powerful driver. So how do you balance doing things the right way with staying flexible in a creative space like podcasting? Because there's a lot going on, right?
Yeah. One, I don't listen to a lot of podcasts. I don't buy into the whole social media, the negative part of social media. I don't buy into clickbait. I don't buy into none of that. Again, it goes back to authenticity, me being an open book, me just telling my story from my perspective. I don't do what other people do. I just do what I do. And, I'm here to tell a story. I'm here to spread that good energy. And hopefully, people buy into that.
That's true. You're very authentic, and you have a clear vision of what you want your show to be, and that comes across.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then what kind of impact do you hope this podcast leaves behind?
Couple of things. One, like I said earlier, even when I'm talking to the kids and teaching the kids, it's about planting seeds, right? So it's about me just leaving content out there. Because once it's out there on the internet, it just lives forever. So it's just leaving content out there, and hopefully somebody one day hears one of these episodes and they get a takeaway from it, and it saves their lives or it helps them in some type of way.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that.
I believe in storytelling, like because one of the things that helped me when I was a kid, somebody pulled me to the side and had a conversation with me, and I just remember that vaguely. And so me having these conversations, I'm hoping that someone can hear these conversations, even though it's not a direct conversation, but it's a conversation, and they get something from that conversation and it helps them.
That's your legacy. That's how you leave your legacy, and through storytelling, that's how we can live forever, I think.
Right. Because I believe people do search the internet for answers.
Yeah,
they do.
Do.
A lot of people, they don't have that psychological safety to talk to anybody.
Right.
So what do? They grab their phone, they get on a computer and they search for things. They listen to other people's stories. Yep. So I said, what a better way to try to leave something out there for somebody later on. Even now, if tomorrow somebody search for something, they can hopefully find answers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I think that's a good driver for what you do, and I think that we need more of that in the world.
Oh, absolutely.
More, can you share a moment on the podcast where you felt this is exactly what I'm meant to be doing?
Todd, what is this?
He's gonna cry.
This is
on this podcast.
This is 153 or 54 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. A moment that I knew that
And you're saying a moment from the podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like you were in it, the podcast, and you were like, wow, this is exactly what I was meant to be doing.
Like it hit you.
Yeah, it just hit you.
I honestly, you know what? I think it was an episode I did with Lisa. Because Lisa's so great. I know you don't know Lisa. I'm also a board member for a nonprofit called Action for Kids. and we deal in child abuse prevention. We're one of 12 councils for the LA County Mental Health Child Abuse councils out here. So I'm a board member for that. And Lisa is actually, she was in the cohort 1 for positive psychology, and we was in cohort 2. And she became a big fan of my show, and is a big supporter. So now I work side by side with her on this nonprofit. But she's done my show multiple times, but I think it was the first time she came on the show. And so Lisa, because again, I don't like compliments and all like that. To me, when I first started doing my show, it was all about my guests. I wanted to tell their stories. Me and Lisa joke around a lot. So Lisa comes on the show and she always flips the mic to me, and it's always about me. And she does it in a clever way till I buy into it. And I think that first show, she had me really emotional, and what she was saying about me, about doing all this community work that I do out here, she was really highlighting everything I do out here. And it made me emotional because, I still feel like, and I'm about to get emotional right now, because I still feel like as much as I do, even in the schools today, that I still haven't made the impact that I want to make, because it's so much work that needs to be done. And I appreciate everybody always telling me that, I do a great job, I do so much, but I still feel like it's a lot of work to be done. And so when people tell me that, I feel like I haven't made an impact yet, like not me, like I feel like I'm just a small piece of the puzzle.
I see. Yeah.
So you got me emotional, Todd.
You're the best. You really are.
I appreciate your honesty and vulnerability. It's really, yeah.
So I'm gonna say this one too. So, but yeah,
the YOS is not something we chase. It's something that we embody. So your trust right way, contribute, shows up in how you lead, how you listen, how you serve, and the consistency and care you bring to your podcast, to the 1NELife, is rare. And that is exactly why people tune in, because they're looking for that. Just kind of what you were just talking about. Yeah. It's great. And so, I did a little snippet on Haley's YOS, and then I wanted to show you guys how you guys interact together a little bit with the YOS. So Haley's is make sense, challenge, and simplify. And, so Haley's someone who needs things to make sense. And she's not satisfied with surface level answers, as you probably know, and or going along with things just because that's the way they have been always going. They've always been.
It can't be in the flow.
Yeah. So her challenge part, the how, is like she thinks outside the box, and she challenges assumptions. She'll ask you smart questions, pushes people to think deeper. And once she understands something fully, she can break it down very simple for other people.
I can see that, because when we was in our course together, and mind you, it was a 9 month course, 9 months course. She was very vocal, and she would challenge like all the questions, everything. Like she was one of the ones that was very vocal. So I can see that.
Yeah. How's that feel for you, Haley?
It feels spot on.
Oh, yeah. But it was great. I mean, because she asked a lot of questions, and sorry, I'm still working my tears. She asked a lot of questions that did make sense, and it brought clarity to a lot of things that, because positive psychology was new to all of us in the class. So she would ask those questions that brought clarity to us, like, oh, okay, that makes sense, because the way she was asking them, and I guess because she was searching for that clarity.
Yes.
Right. And so I wrote down a few different values of hers, and one of them is clarity.
Yeah.
She explains things in a way that's clear and practical. Growth, she does not settle for easy answers. Fairness, she cares deeply about people being treated with respect, equality, and truth. Like those are some of her values. And so when you think about you two doing this together, what happens is like the trust right way, contribute, make sense, challenge, simplify. Yours is, Mike, you bring loyalty, structure, and service. People feel safe with you, and it builds things, like you build things the right way and for the right reasons. And for Haley, she brings curiosity, bold questions, and clarity. like you were just saying. She pushes the truth and practical insight and turns complexity into something real and digestible. So just to real quick sum up, like yours is create safety, Haley's is pushing for clarity. Yours is steady and grounded, hers is brings spark and energy. Yours is honest, honors the process, and hers is challenge what's not working. And then yours is build trust with listeners, and hers is build depth in conversation. So it's a good, combination where you both are, bringing out the best in each other when you're doing this together.
Love that.
And so you share values, truth, and you both want real conversation, not noise. Right. Service, you want to help others and impact, respect, listen, hold space, like you did for that woman today. Yep. Honor each other's voices, and fairness. Haley speaks it, and then you show and live it, right? So that's the process. Now that there's points of tension, let's do that for a quick second. Right? Okay. So Mike, you may want stability while Haley wants to challenge and pivot. Right. There might be some things we're going on where she might be wanting to do something different. Haley may want fast movement, and while you prefer to move with precision. Right. She's like, next, like we can go on to the next. You're like, whoa, let's make sure that everything's ready to go. And Mike may avoid conflict to protect trust, while Haley may lean into conflict to uncover truth.
Well, ain't that the truth?
But you know what? You're spot on, because when I approached Haley to do the show with me, she was like, okay, but she was like, can we do it this way? So our whole format now is totally different than what I used to do the show before her. But I love it though. Like I actually love it. It was a great idea. It was a great shift and something different. And I didn't mind that, because obviously I trust her, and I knew what she was looking for, and I was okay with that.
Yeah, and that's great. And you both respect each other, and that is what's going to keep it very easy, clean, moving forward. Like respect is huge.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
We both value that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that.
How about you, Haley? What do you want to say about all that?
I think it's great. I know, because I do work with you. I am a client, and so we talk about these things that pertain to me often, and I see it in my daily life. Me, like literally in the moment, like breaking down a situation to try to make sense of what's happening. Like I need to understand why, just like you do. But yeah, I have to think about it quick and make sense or else it'll break my brain. Yeah,
it will.
Yeah, and so that's what Todd helps me with, is because sometimes things just don't make sense, and I have a really hard time accepting that.
Right, you can't let it go until you figure it out.
Yeah, but there's some like very difficult situations that you just have to be in, and how to navigate that.
Right. I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because sometimes people with make sense, they can get trapped in the process because it almost like tunnel vision, like I need to work this thing out, when really if I could just pull back and look at this thing in a different way, this thing would clear up. But it just depends on how, it could be painful, or it could be dysfunctional, or whatever it may be. And or we're trying to protect somebody, and we're not looking at ourselves, we're looking at someone else, and they'll get caught up in it. And then you'll get bottlenecked in your mind, in the loops. And then, but what happens is, if you can pull back and look at it a little differently, things clear up very fast, which you do with most things.
Yeah. And I always say that. And I had to learn that. And it took me years to understand that, to actually take a step back and look at, like you said, look at it from a different perspective, right? Even after our course, whenever I get into a situation, I always try to pull back, but then ask myself, okay, one, what could I have done different? What did I do to even make this person feel a certain way? And what can I do moving forward to correct this? Yeah. It's kind of like the three things that I kind of look at.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to put things in frameworks of threes, like I try to help my clients with that as well. Is here's what we're doing. This is what, this is what this is what it is. This is what it looks like. This is how it's going to end.
Right.
And so if you do that, it's the same thing with meditation. Like a lot of times people think meditation is about clearing the mind, and meditation is really about integrating with the mind. And so even if you follow your breath, what happens is you follow your breath, you begin to drift. All of a sudden you end up somewhere else in your mind, and then you get conscious and wake up to where you are, and then you bring yourself back to your breath. So it's like this thing that is really simple to do, but what happens is people are like, meditation, I don't know how to do that. Well, it's really just follow, drift, and then figure out where you are, and then bring yourself back to following again. And if you can do that a couple times a day for 5 minutes a day, or you do the beads like you were doing back and forth, or you go for a walk. Like there's many ways to meditate.
Yeah, so many different. I mean, exercising, playing up basketball by yourself, reading a book. It's meditation. It's all meditation.
Yeah,
and that goes into the emotional patterns, right? Like reprogramming that for you in those loops that we can get into.
Yeah, it does for sure.
Wow.
So that's the why. That's how I get to know somebody very quickly when they do this, so that I'm not spending a lot of time, especially if it's in person or if it's virtual. If I'm looking at somebody, but I don't know who they are internally, it used to take me like 2 or 3 or 4 sessions just to get to understand someone. But now they do this assessment, they take it, I have this data that helps me understand where they are, and then I can talk to them through the lens that they live their life through. And it actually saves a lot of time, and it's very valuable from what I do for a living.
No, I love it, and I appreciate you. Question though, what's the difference? Like Haley and I did, and she told me she talked to you about the VA.
The VIA?
Yeah.
The VIA strengths?
Yeah, the VIA strengths, right. So character strengths and kind of what you just did. Is that still in alignment with character strengths, or would you consider it something else?
I would consider, so I did mine.
Did you?
I wanted to see what it was about.
What was your top strength?
My top
I didn't get your PDF.
It's perspective, being able to provide wise counsel to others, having ways of looking at the world that makes sense to oneself and others, right? Like I was like, oh yeah, that's exactly what I do. That's how I live my life.
That's so cool.
So let me ask you this though, Todd. Was your top strength something that you were surprised about, or you kind of like, oh, I knew that?
No, I didn't know what any of the strengths were, but when I read it, I was like, yeah, that's definitely.
Yeah, it's spot on.
And same for mine. My 5, like my top 1 was spirituality, right? But I've always been an entrepreneur and a leader in anything I've ever done, right? So I thought leadership would have been my top 1, but it was way at the bottom. But once I read them all and understood them all, then I was like, okay, well, that makes sense.
I actually thought one of my top would be leadership, and it wasn't even in my top 5.
Yeah.
But I think what makes you and I good leaders are those other qualities that goes into the leadership.
Right.
So it was a little bit different. But my top strength was curiosity.
You are curious.
Oh, yeah. Well, that makes right. Yeah. You're very curious.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very curious.
I mean, I think it melds well with the why, because this also reminds me of like intrinsic motivation. Like I'm like, oh yeah, my process of perspective. So mine are perspective, creativity, forgiveness. I would have never thought that would have been on my top 5.
Wow.
Leadership and love of learning.
Oh.
And so the forgiveness one, I was like, oh, I realized that over time I was able to figure out how to let go of things very easily. When I was in my youth and like teenage years and early 20s, and even in my 20s, there was a lot of grudges I was holding on to. And then something happened where I was just like, oh, to be able to heal, I need to be able to let go of whatever these things are. Right. And so I get that that's why it's on my top 3 now, or top 5 now. But it does correlate with the why as well. Okay. So this is something I think I'll be sending to people as well.
It's really cool.
It's a very cool thing. And I didn't do the whole. You can buy different things with it, but I didn't go into
we just did
that.
So I have a question. So I have a friend of mine who was like this big shoe designer, right? And he was one of the top designers for Nike and Air Jordan. Some guy I grew up with. And last month, he was out here and he did like this big shoe event, and he spoke for the first time in 20 years. And not spoke for the first time like he hasn't spoken, but he's so big in that industry. He actually is the founder of the HBUC up in Detroit. He reopened it with Target and a couple other companies. But anyways, so he did a lot of speaking events over his time. So it's been 20 years since he spoke out here in LA because we grew up out here. But during his event, he said something that made me think about something that I was like, oh, wow. So even though he was this big top shoe designer, right, he was like, he didn't really find his why or his purpose until he started teaching. So when he retired from Nike, he went over he opened up his own school, shoe design school, because they never had one. And people to this day still didn't know that. They've always had fashion design schools. They never had a shoe design school. So he opened up the first one about 15 years ago. And so he said that's when he found his why. So it wasn't in the shoe design. So afterwards, he literally said, because somebody asked, what did your legacy look like? He said, well, I want people to remember me as opening up this school and teaching, but not as a shoe designer. And I'm like, that's crazy. You work alongside Michael Jordan. Like, you can literally call Michael Jordan right now. And like, you ran his company for years. But you don't want people to remember you as these, and you designed all these Jordans. And you're like, yeah, I want people to remember me from the teaching. So my point to that was, I had a 35-year career in entertainment and film and television. And I grew up in entertainment, so it's something I always wanted to do. But I didn't find my purpose until I started mentoring and doing stuff out here. All the stuff with the kids I do out here. So now I do look at that like, oh, that was nothing. Like, I love this. Like, this is my purpose.
Yeah, right. And I think a lot of that, what you're talking about, most people never find it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they just go through life, they retire. I was talking to somebody a couple weeks ago. He's got 3 years to retire. I could tell he was just like, I just want to retire. I want to get out of what I'm doing. And then I said, okay, well, what are you going to do after you retire? He's like, well, I'll probably get a similar job in another company. And I was like, what?
That's crazy.
I was like, wow. I'm like, you don't have any other like passions or you want to connect to? And he goes, well, this is just what I know. And I was like, right. But does it drive you? You know? And he was just like, he's like, this is what I know, and he'll probably do that, you know?
Yeah.
So when you find something and connect to something, and you're like, and you follow that gut energy, that intuition, and it gets you to a place, and then you realize like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. That's, you know, like with your friend, you know, there's probably, my guess is there's probably contribute in his top 3. Right? Like, he wants to make an impact in the world in a way where other people are thriving, right? It's not just him making a design on something, which is, he was great at, obviously, but it wasn't what was driving him. This is what we got to this place to be able to do what he's doing now.
Right. And you know, so for like him, like I said, there was never no design school, right? So for him, he worked at a temp agency for LA Gear. And you know how back in the day, I don't know if they probably don't do it now, but companies had that suggestion box. If you have a suggestion to make the company better.
Now it's like a joke.
Right. So, but no, check this out.
Yeah.
Every morning he would drop in a new shoe design in that box. And a week before his temporary position was about to expire, the owner of LA Gear called him into the office and was like, hey, was it you that's been dropped? Because he put his name on it, of course. He was like, was it you that been putting all these shoe designs? And I think he said he did it for how long? It was a long period of time. It was like maybe 2-3 months. So every day for 2-3 months. So, and he had all the designs like on his desk, right? He was like, did you do all these and drop them in the box? And he was like, yeah. He was like, you're hired.
That's such a cool story.
So he gave him an opportunity. I mean, he didn't say it like that, but you know, it turned into a job, right? But he came up with this school, and he's doing this college now to give people an opportunity that someone gave him, because to be a shoe designer, those opportunities are very slim because it never was a school.
Right.
Like, right. So you really had to know somebody and somebody to get you in. So for him to have that opportunity, he always said, I'm going to make an opportunity for a lot of inner city kids that probably would never have this opportunity.
That's so cool.
So his why might be the same as mine. It might be like, mine's better way, mastery, and clarity.
Yeah.
His might be like better way, mastery, contribute. Right? Like he sees something and he's like, okay, let's tweak this, let's tweak that, let's do this. And then he's like, oh, there's no school, there's never been a school like this. Well, let's create one. That's somebody thinking outside the box.
So, you keep mentioning mastery, right? That's one of the first questions that when he said he had his first sit down with Jordan, he actually asked Jordan, when did you know you mastered basketball? And Jordan didn't know what he was talking about. And he was like, no, you got to, like, how did you master it? Like, how did you know you was like the best, the GOAT? And then, because he obviously knew what it meant, because, he did all these designs and all that. And so Jordan's response was, you know what? It was during such and such game. And he said he was doing something and everybody was in slow motion but him.
Right.
And he said that's when he realized, I mastered the game of basketball.
Oh, that's cool.
That's wonderful. I love that.
Yeah.
That's great.
So it's crazy.
That's awesome.
I like that.
So, so that's my process. Been doing it for a long time. I moved out to LA about 15, 16 years ago, thinking I was going to do something else. Because I was like, let me try something else, new world, new place. And after about 3 months, I was like, I actually gain energy when I'm helping people. Like, I need to do it. Like, it's just this desire to be able to say, because when I see somebody like shapeshift in front of me and they have this, eye-opening process where they start to live in the world differently in a functional way, it feeds me. And it's just like, I love it. I love it. Right. So
I love that too. And I really think, Todd, and you too, Mike, like, you guys are really putting out so much positive energy, and the little interactions that you're having with people on a regular basis, like, you're putting out those ripples that is changing the world. I really believe that.
Appreciate you. Yeah.
But you are too. Don't leave yourself out
Try my
there.
best.
Oh, you are. You definitely are.
We all are. I think everybody can have that impact if you're conscious to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
But you guys are doing the work, and I can see that. That's really awesome.
Thank you. Yes. Well, Todd, man, I really appreciate you. Thank you for letting me take the assessment and joining you here today on my show. I know I'm talking like it's a show, right? But no, I truly appreciate it because I do value people like you and your opinion and how you trying to make the world better and by individually, people helping people make the world better.
Yes.
Well, I'll email you a copy of your individual coaching card so you can read about yourself and have that on file for yourself. Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
This was really fun.
It was fun.
I had a great time.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
and thank you, Haley, for, setting all this up.
Yes. And Todd, can you tell us more about where people can find you? Where they can?
Yeah. So you can go to Healing Guy, HealingGuy.com. That's my Healing Guy site. I am creating an intrinsic culture site right now, but if you want to find me quickly, go to healingguy.com. And if you sign up for a newsletter I put out every Monday, You can also download a meditation I created that you'll get for free with that. So,
love it.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you again for joining us, Todd. Truly appreciate it. Truly appreciate everything you do, and truly appreciate you, just like me, putting that positive energy out there, because we definitely need it. It's definitely a lot of work that needs to be done.
Yes.
Thank you, Haley, for setting us all up. You're amazing.
You're amazing.
You're curiously amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to put that on a shirt.
Curiously amazing. I know that is dope. Hey, yeah, for free.
Yes, curiously amazing. Pure amazing. Pure amazing.
Yes.
Thank you to our audience over here, Red Zone. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
I love it.
Anyways, yeah. So thank you again, Todd. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We out of here, you
All
guys.
right, we're out.